Why the fuck aren't you vegan yet, Mr. President Trump? Ooh. Is it because you're stuck on the toilet trying hard to push out a dump? When you become an ethical vegan, I guarantee you'll no longer be full of poo. And that's when I'll vote for you.
Y'all, this is something from my own store. It is a face mask that says "Go Vegan" with some cow print on it. It finally came today. I am so excited to finally show it off. If you guys would like to check out my store to see vegan shit, it is really appreciated. Well, my name is Happy Black Legends, and today I'm doing something I've wanted to do since 2020. I think that's when I wrote the idea for this video. Before we get started, I just want to say something. I know this video is called Dragging 10 Vegan YouTubers. I'm not dragging all of them, okay? Clickbait. Got you. But for the most part, yes, there will be a dragation for most of these people. And I also want to say that despite me having beef vegan with some of these people, number one, I am vegan, so don't get it twisted. And number two, these people helped me become vegan. So even though there's some bullshit, you know, a broken clock is correct twice a day, right? And that's the case with some of these vegans, is my point. Also, if there's someone on this list that you happen to enjoy their content, sucks to suck, get better idols. No, I'm just playing. Don't take it so seriously, boo. It's not that deep. It's really not that deep. Well, some of the people on this list, in my opinion, are genuine menaces to society. But overall, like, you do you, boo. If you're not consuming animal products, you're not consuming or wearing animal products, hey, you're not consuming or wearing animal products, you do you, boo. The first vegan that I'm going to be talking about is actually the reason why I made this video. Originally, I wanted to do a video just on her because I was like, this chick is just really, she really out here doing, I don't know if she's doing the damn thing, but she's doing something, okay? But I decided against it because she does get a lot of hate, and even though my video wasn't going to be hateful in any way, I just didn't want to, I don't know, I just didn't want to make a video focusing solely on her, and so that's when this video idea sort of morphed out of that one. But her name is V-gan Booty. You might have seen her on TikTok if you have that app. I don't use TikTok, so I actually came across her on YouTube. And V-gan Booty, aka Tash Peterson, is an Australian animal rights activist and vegan. And she is, I mean,
Animal rights activist has just crossed the lines onto Optus Stadium. Peterson held a banner that read, "Right to Rescue."
The purpose of my action was on behalf of the animals who are suffering immensely.
6 months old when they were forced to take part in dioxide gas chamber.
These two were never going to see eye to eye, but today they came face to face.
So hard on their feet. Get it out.
The wrestling continued through the shopping centre
What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you?
until Kimmy the Butcher showed her the exit.
Things. When they suffocated to death.
The woman holding the pig's head is Tash Peterson, a staunch vegan who's no stranger to controversy on and off the field.
And they burn from the inside out.
We can't have that sort of thing going on. Like, everybody has views and opinions, you know? Keep it to yourself.
she's been banned from numerous supermarket chains in Australia because what she does is she goes to supermarkets and she does what we call disruptive activism. And disruptive activism serves a huge purpose. What it does is it disrupts like the everyday, just the everyday. And it's about putting yourself out there to get the message out there. And it's about disrupting people and making them look at you and your message. It's an extremely effective tool that's been used by every political party you can think of. However, I do think she's kind of annoying, and I completely understand why meat eaters would look at her and not take veganism seriously. Like, not like vegans, and just think like, wow, vegans are really out of it. But I also think she's kind of a badass. Like, I don't know. I kind of like her. Like, I sub to her YouTube channel, and she, like, lives in a van, and she's just out here yelling at people, and I like her accent. She makes me laugh. But, yeah, that being said, I do wonder, you know, is her activism sustainable? Does it work? I don't know. I don't know. I feel like what I feel like her activism does is it maybe tugs at like pescatarian and vegetarians' hearts, maybe like flexitarians. I feel like who it really changes and impacts are people that are already sort of paying attention to what she's talking about. Because for the most part, meat eaters just walk by her and they laugh, they say really mean things. Sometimes people get really physical with her. And I feel like that is unfortunate. That being said, you know, I do see people commenting all the time, like, I'm going vegan because of you. Oh, so, you know, different strokes for different folks. But yeah, I do wonder, like, overall, like, what the percentage, I mean, there's no way to measure that, you know? But I just wonder, like, is she really out here convincing, like, people in the stores that she's in to go vegan? I don't know. And, you know, there is a topic of, like, potentially triggering people in public, especially with the kind of costumes that she does wear during her disruptive protest. So, I don't know. She's really controversial. That being said, like, I do watch her content. I don't agree with a lot of her rhetoric. Like, there's something that, I don't know. I'm a newish vegan, so... But I do feel weird when vegans, like, call meat eaters, like, animal abusers. Like, I feel like that's really weird. I feel like abuse has, like, intended harm. I'm not saying that animals aren't abused in the current system, but I don't know. Maybe I just, like, need to be... Like, maybe I just need to go to a TED Talk or something and hear someone give their perspective. But I do feel like even if that's the case, I feel like yelling at people and calling them animal abusers, like, that's really not the way to go about it. And like you have to realize that no one's gonna hear that and think you're like they're just gonna think you're a stupid vegan. Like, they really are, because like animal abuse, like when meat eaters hear animal abusers, what they're thinking of are people that intentionally abuse typically dogs and cats, especially in America. That's what we think of. We're not thinking of someone who's going to the supermarket and then going home and cooking a steak and some mashed potatoes with butter on it for their family. And I get what you're saying, because the system does currently exploit and abuse and oppress animals, and I completely understand that, but I just feel like calling people animal abusers is not really a good tactic. I don't know. That's just my opinion. I don't know. At the end of the day, I completely understand why people troll her, why people make fun of her. I completely get it. I do feel for her on one hand. You know, but on the other hand, I do enjoy watching her content. She kind of makes me laugh. I feel like most of the people that enjoy her content are already vegans. Like, I feel like I don't know, is she really reaching out to meat eaters? I don't know. But, I enjoy her content. I don't agree with like some of the rhetoric that she uses. I'm not gonna, you know, approve of some of the things she says, because I literally do not, but I think she's kind of a badass. Like, I can never, I don't know, I've done protests, and I've worked in politics, and I've had to, like, you know, ask voters' opinions, and I've had to get really personal with, like, strangers before, and I have a theater background, but, like, for some reason, I don't know if I could do what she does. But also, I don't know if I would want to. I feel like standing outside of a grocery store, offering people vegan samples and letting them know vegan options that they can purchase inside the grocery store, that is a wonderful way to sort of advocate for vegan awareness, number one, because a lot of people aren't aware of, like my housemates always tell me like, oh, I didn't know that store had that item in there. And it's like, well, yeah. So I think it's good for people to do things like that, but, you know, walking into a grocery store, restaurant, and yelling at people and calling them animal abusers, I don't know if that's really gonna reel anyone in, personally, I don't know. But, like I said, her Australian accent kills me. I'm going to give her 4 glasses of plant-based milks, free of animal secretions. The next vegan on my list is Earthling Avocado Looking Ass Jesus Ed. Earthling Ed. Earthling Ed is quite popular within the vegan community and like outside of the vegan community. When you search up vegan, he's one of the first results that come up on YouTube. I was subscribed to him for a while, and one thing that I realized is I'm not really a fan of his street outreach. And one thing I've realized overall is I'm not a fan of a lot of the ways vegans do street outreach. I feel like it's really ineffective. I know that he has pushed a lot of people towards veganism. Like, his outreach is crazy, and just the popularity of his channel. Also, he's recently opened an animal sanctuary, which, that's fucking amazing. Like, I really have nothing to say about that. Like, I'm not gonna critique the man for that. You're really doing the damn thing. You know what I mean? Like, I really can appreciate that. I think that's a beautiful thing. I really do. To have the opportunity to give animals freedom from oppression and offer them a safe space to just live and enjoy their lives and eat grass and shit wherever they want. I just think that's glorious. Also, I really enjoy him more in like the documentary settings. Like, I love when plant-based news features him. I love his like TED Talks. I really think he does well in one-on-one debates. But when he's out in the street, and there's a few other vegans on this list, and there's a few other vegans that I'm not even gonna talk about today that are on this list, or that are not on this list, where I just got so annoyed from watching them try to debate with people on the street that I unsubscribed. I was like, this is not it for me, boo-boo, this just ain't it. I feel like he really does thrive in those sort of settings. I'm going to give Earthling Ed a score of 3 animal sanctuaries. The next vegan on my list is Joey Carbstrong. Joey is also Australian, I believe, and he is also quite popular. He's actually very similar to Earthling Ed. Like, they pretty much produce the same kind of content. They do one-on-one debates. They've both gone on live TV. They both participate regularly in street activism. One thing about Joey that I really appreciate, like I mentioned earlier, is he'll set up booths and like offer free vegan samples to people. And he'll tell them like, did you know sells these vegan options like inside? And they're like, oh no. The videos that actually made me subscribe to his channel were the slaughterhouse videos, and in my opinion those are his strongest videos. Those are the videos that he makes that, at least for me, left the strongest impact, like had the strongest like reaction. I feel like his street activism videos, he really gets on my nerves, and damn street activism videos, I ain't even trying to lie. Like, I'm like, boy, if you don't sit down. But I do think he is funny on live TV. He goes really, really hard, and it's kind of funny to watch. Like, he went after, like, him and Piers Morgan, like, got in this really, like, this debate on live TV, and, I mean, Piers Morgan is a real bugger, you know, I fucking hate that dude. So it was just really funny to watch. I will say, like, I don't agree with his rhetoric, and I don't agree with a lot of the shit he says and his attitudes towards certain things, which I'm about to get into, but I do appreciate anyone that's able to turn their life around, and the fact that he, you know, left a life full of, like, in his words, drug and gang violence, and he went on a much healthier, like, physical and mental path and turned towards veganism. I think that's a really beautiful thing. my throat is dry as hell, bitch. Recently, Joey Carbstrong has come under fire for not condemning white supremacy in the vegan community. So that's kind of whack. And this is one of the things, I've talked about this before, I'm gonna say it real quick. When I talk about rhetoric, this is some of the rhetoric that I hate that vegans use. I hate animal holocaust. Like, we need to eliminate that from our dictionary and from our, like, verbiage. It's offensive. It's offensive, it's disgusting, and, like, even if that's your honest to God opinion, non-vegans are not gonna hear you, like, non-vegans are gonna hear you say animal holocaust and go, okay, you are a fucking crazy cracker. Like, that is what they're going to think about you. Like, that is just what they're going to think about you. And I get why you're saying that, because pigs are thrown into gas chambers and you can literally hear them screaming and squealing as they are being roasted alive. So I completely understand why you're using that rhetoric, but it's also, like, just extremely, like, insensitive, like, to Jewish people. Like, how do you not understand how that's rude? Same thing with comparing, like, animal harm to Black liberation and the Black civil rights movement. It's honestly disgusting. It's really offensive. And you're alienating marginalized and minority people when you do that. And you're basically making that entire group of people uninterested in, like, what you have to say. And it's really just a failed way of reaching out to people. If you want to attract more people, we as vegans have to be a little bit more level-headed, a little bit more reasonable, and a little bit more realistic. And I just feel like, you know, the Holocaust, like, rhetoric really needs to stop. It's disgusting. It makes me feel physically uncomfortable. And when I wasn't a vegan and I heard people say that, I was like, what the fuck are they talking about? And then once I watched, like, Dominion and Slaughterhouse and blah, 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 like, I understood why vegans said that, but it's just like, it's really insensitive, and you're just really showing your, like, privilege, and you're just showing your lack of, like, race relations. Like, you really need to work on your race relations. So that's what I'm gonna say on that, period. I'm going to give Joey a rating of 3 Subway vegan pate. The next vegan on my list is ゚Very teacher.
3, 2, 1, sing! Eating animals from McDonald's, hurting animals from McDonald's. Share this song and change your entire menu to be vegan from now on.
This bitch has been everywhere. You probably already know who this woman is. She is mostly popular on the app TikTok, where, like, most of her TikToks have gone viral. In my opinion, she is a condescending, Tim Burton looking ass, terrible advocate for veganism. I think she's extremely controversial because she's really patronizing and she's kind of racist and homophobic. And just like I mentioned, like, literally a second ago, she regularly uses, like, the word Holocaust to describe animal abuse and harm, and she has these really cringy TikToks addressing Black people, and it's...
Hey. For fun, I went to your profile and noticed that you have dark skin. Maybe you call yourself Black. Do you know what I did when George Floyd died? I bawled my eyes out. I cried like crazy. Do you know how many Black Lives Matter protests I've been to? Do you know how your ancestors were treated? Enslaved, raped, and murdered? Do you not know what they do to the animals right now in the industry? It would be great, even if you're not saving the animals, and if you don't give a shit about anyone but yourself, you at least don't make it worse for people like me who are trying.
So bad. It's so bad. It's so bad. oh my god. She calls out people, like, she also calls out people in, like, kind of an harassing way. Well, she'll literally make, like, 10 TikToks about these people, and she'll, like, duet them, and she'll just, like, berate people. She's pretty much the stereotypical, like, vegan, like, you know, like, she's basically Erin from Jubilee, but older, like, literally. Like, that's exactly what she is. Her videos make me cringe on such a molecular level. And she, like I mentioned, she regularly compares black people to animals, and she also said that coming out as vegan is harder than coming out as gay. And she regularly uses the term veganphobic, which...
You're absolutely wrong. Coming out as a vegan animal rights activist, as somebody who cares beyond themselves, is much more special than it is to come out as a member of the LGBTQ community. Coming out as a member of the LGBTQ community is an entirely selfish act. It's talking about you only. It's not talking about the things that you're going to do to better the world. Coming out as an animal rights activist is talking about the animals, others, not just you. In fact, it is a completely unselfish thing to do. Yes, I'm not saying it's easy in different societies, different religious backgrounds, but if you're in a religion that treats you badly, then just change religions. We've been over this before. But look at my comment section. Think of how terribly vegan animal rights activists are treated. Not just me, all of them. Do better. Be kind to those who are being kind. Be vegan.
I feel like sometimes white people need to understand that, like, jokes can be oppressive. I'm not saying that they can't be, and I'm not saying that they can't be offensive. But they're not always, like, oppressive when it comes to, like, white people. And, like, white people literally will walk around thinking that they're being oppressed because someone made, like, one little joke, and they'll go, this is oppression, this is it. And it's like, no, it might hurt your feelings. That doesn't belittle how it made you feel, but you're not being oppressed for being vegan. Vegans have never been considered a subclass. Yeah, we get made fun of for many valid reasons, okay. But yikes, like, veganphobic, like, that really took me out the first time I saw it. And I don't know, maybe it's just because I'm a queer, dark-skinned black woman, and I've been, like, obese before. I've experienced so many different kinds of, like, discrimination and, like, genuine oppression, and so just to, like, hear someone be, like, veganphobic, like, I just heard glass breaking noise in my brain. I was like, this bitch, she needs to take her B12 and sit the fuck down, honey. Personally, I just think she's hella cringy, and honestly, I think she's kind of bad for veganism. I think she pushes the negative vegan stereotypes. Some of my favorite YouTubers actually have dragged her, and although I appreciate the dragation, it's also kind of disappointing because they continue to push, like, they'll start the video off by saying, like, I like vegans, I have friends that are vegans, I'm not here to make fun of vegans. And they don't make fun of vegans, but I feel like they say things that allow people to stay comfortable with consuming animal products. Like, a lot of people don't, because she's such a garbage fire, like she's a giant dumpster on fire, okay? I just feel like people look at her and she's such a joke that they don't actually take, like, any aspect of veganism seriously. And they just feel way more, and people will, like, I see it, people will spitefully go out and buy, like, meat, and, like, they'll duet her, and they'll go out and get, like, you know, a bunch of nuggets from McDonald's or whatever. And, like, one of my favorite YouTubers today, I was watching his live stream, and he encouraged people to go and order, like, chicken. And, like, ha ha ha. But at the same time, like, you know, damn, that sucks. And I feel like, is this really the person we want to be pushing for veganism. I mean, she has like, I think millions of followers on TikTok, which TikTok confuses the fuck out of me. I don't understand how people acquire that many like followers. It's crazy. Though I have seen people comment saying that they've gone vegan because of her, so I don't really know. And usually they're younger kids too, which kind of concerns me. I wonder which grade she's taught previously. I don't know. I haven't seen anyone comment on that. Also, recently she's come under fire because someone she encouraged to go vegan and potentially gave diet advice to died, apparently, allegedly, supposedly, allegedly, unalleged, and so that happened. So I mean, I don't really know. This bitch has a lot on her plate right now. She needs to like cool it. I would say she needs to go outside, but we're in the middle of a panoramic, so what she really needs to do is like come inside and like take a damn bath or something. Take some B12, sit down and drink and just have a bowl of some Oatly or something, but shut the fuck up, please. I'm gonna give her a rating of 1 shitty analogy. Next vegan on my list is Cheap Lazy Vegan, and I'm not gonna drag Rose because Rose is an icon, okay? She's a legend, she is the moment, okay? I think she's such a sweetheart. I think she has a knack for like simplifying veganism and making it sort of accessible and realistic. I bought chickpeas for the first time because I knew that they are a great source of plant-based protein, but I had no idea what to do with chickpeas, and I knew that I could have just cooked them up a little bit and poured them over rice and boom, but I didn't want to do that. I wanted to like make something, and so I go to her channel and she has all these different recipes and shit, and like I've made chickpea burgers. Oh my god, earlier today I had a chickpea salad with this chocolate berry smoothie. It was so fucking good. I could not believe my life. So I think that she's a huge blessing to the vegan movement, and I think that she really encourages people to go vegan, and I think that she shows people that you can go vegan if you're on a budget, that you can make really delicious, amazing food. I think she's shown people how to veganize food. I mean, she's been doing this for so long, and she's really close to 100 or to 1 million subs, and so I hope she gets that in 2021. I really do. And also, she was one of the only like popular vegans that I saw speaking out during the Black Lives Matter protest, and for me that was a really big deal. And at the time I wasn't vegan. At the time I was dairy free. I've been pork free since I was like a child, so I was dairy free, pork free, beef free, and I think that was it at the time. And I was like during quarantine I was watching a lot of vegan YouTubers, and I was trying to understand veganism, and I was kind of like, well, you know, right now I'm struggling with an eating disorder, so I'm probably not gonna go vegan right now, but maybe in the future after I've recovered I'll go vegan. And when the Black Lives Matter protest happened, and I just saw so many like really insensitive, racist like rhetoric being pushed by a community of people who claim to have empathy for every being, it just made no sense. And I couldn't understand why, like, how do you claim to care for animals but you don't give a shit about people being killed? Like, it was just really confusing, and it was just weird because vegans always say like because one thing that vegans get a lot of time is, oh, there's other more important things going on in the world, and so a lot of vegans will say we can focus on more than one thing. And it was just kind of weird because during the Black Lives Matter protest, a lot of vegans stayed silent, or if they spoke up, they said some really racist shit. And so to see Rose, you know, speak up and stand up for Black Lives Matter in such a profound way, and for her to use her massive platform in that way, it kind of encouraged me not to like completely write off veganism. It kind of encouraged me that okay, not all vegans are like racist. And I know that's like really shitty for me to assume that, but you have to understand that's what I was being presented at the time, was just like racist vegan rhetoric, and I couldn't believe it. I was so confused. I'm actually gonna try to make sushi because of her, so I'm really excited. And yeah, I just really appreciate her as a content creator. I'm going to give her a ranking of 5 amazing tofu dishes. Next vegan on my list is Unnatural Vegan. Okay, so before I get into it, I just want to be real with y'all. I started watching Unnatural Vegan probably a year ago, actually, and I was subscribed to her for a while, and then during Black Lives Matter, she really showed us her pasty organ ass, like twice, and it was so embarrassing, and it was really upsetting, and it was really disappointing, and it kind of like turned me off from veganism for a hot minute. However, even though I think she is a complete buffoon, I cannot deny her impact, and I cannot deny the fact that she really taught me a lot about vegan nutrition, and that she's probably, like, if I had to name a person that made me go vegan, one of the people was this Mexican vegan coworker that I had, and he was really funny, and he was kind of one of the first non-white vegans I've ever met, and so it was really interesting to get his perspective, and I really enjoyed watching what he ate. He always made really bomb looking food. I don't like avocados, and he ate a lot of avocados, but his food always looked really good and fresh, and I really enjoyed listening to his perspective on veganism, and I always asked him questions. And I think of Unnatural Vegan. Those two people probably had the biggest impact on me fully going vegan. Their words stuck with me the most. Like when I think of people, you know, that pushed me towards veganism, I think of those two individuals. And, so I can't deny that. I can't deny that even though I think she's a complete idiot, she did make me go vegan. And I can't deny that she's the reason why I felt so comfortable going vegan, because I knew a lot about nutrition, and I knew that I needed what food groups to pay attention to, and I knew what foods I could eat, and I knew, like, I just felt like I was prepared to go vegan because I watched so much of her content. That being said, during Black Lives Matter, she released a video titled, "Do Vegans Need to Speak About Black Lives Matter?" And most of her videos are like really well researched and really well thought out. And this video was unlike any other video that I watched. I felt like I was being like duped the entire time. As a black person, like watching that video, it was so like I felt like I was in the Twilight Zone. I felt like I was in the sunken place, like dead ass. Like I was just so confused and like, well, bitch, what the fuck are you doing? Like, and it was just so weird because these are not my words. And people are always like, I've never heard her say that. I am telling you, during quarantine, I watched so many of her videos, okay? And I've heard her say this in many of her videos before, where she's talked about how, and I don't agree with this, but these are her words. She's talked about how vegans are morally superior to other people because they're continuously sacrificing themselves, sacrificing like pleasure for other creatures. And vegans are supposed to be empathetic and caring people. Those are her words. And to see her during Black Lives Matter sort of be like, you monkeys can burn. Like, it was just kind of like, oh my god. Like, she really just said, die, niggers, die. Like, she didn't say that, but it was just like weird. And I was just like, oh my, like, what is going on? Mama, what are you doing here, mama? Like, what is going on? It was really bizarre, and I just felt really kind of like betrayed, and it was really disappointing. So yeah. The one thing I think I appreciated about her content so much when I was watching it was she sort of had like a no bullshit approach to veganism. She was very real with it. She didn't try to hide the hardships of going vegan. She didn't try to make it seem like everyone can go vegan. Like, she was really real with it. And I really appreciated that, like, honestly. And I also really loved that she advocated for like reductarianism, whatever, flexitarian, whatever the fuck. I really appreciated that she advocated for that, because at the end of the day, I think one of the main reasons why for me going vegan was so like easy and was like I had little to no hiccups was because I had slowly been reducing my animal products intakes for over 2 years. And so by the time I gave up everything else, my diet was mostly already plant-based. So it was just about adding more plant-based options. And it was just about sort of overcoming my eating disorder. And I appreciated that, because I feel like promoting slowly reducing animal products and slowly transitioning, it creates more sustainable, more lifelong vegans to really sit and think about what they're doing and to just really give it their all. I feel like those are the people that are going to end up being vegan for much longer. There are vegans that go vegan overnight, and if that's what you did, hey, that's your life, you do you, boo-boo. But in my opinion, I feel like you're gonna have so much less of a struggle, so much less of a a learning curve. Like, by the time I became vegan, I knew a lot about vegan things because I've been dairy-free since 2018. And I'm also gluten-free, and a lot of gluten-free foods happen to be vegan. So there were a lot of products that I already knew were vegan that I already consumed. And most of my diet was rice, lentils, potatoes. Like, it was already like whole food, plant-based, blah, blah, blah. Like, it was just really easy for me, is my point. And I think that that's really great that she advocates for people to go that route. Recently, she's come under more fire for being racially ignorant again on Twitter, and she was simply asked to denounce white supremacy in veganism, and she couldn't. And it's so interesting to me because one thing about Swayze that I really fucking hate is she has such r/debate like loser basement dweller energy about her, and it's so baffling to me because it's just like, can you just like cool it for 2 seconds? Like she was like, can you give me proof of racism? And it's like, do you not realize that you as a white person is probably not going to notice, like, I am not going to notice anti-Semitism more than a Jewish person. How would I? I don't get anti-Semitic remarks. I don't have to go through life dealing with anti-Semitic bullshit. So of course you, a white woman, isn't going to notice like racist remarks and bullshit. But also just like the fact that you can't even think of racism in veganism when it's like you've talked about racism in the vegan movement, you've talked about food deserts, you've even in the Black Lives Matter video, which was filled with just ridiculous remarks, you mentioned food deserts, and you mentioned like how vegans don't know how to advocate to the black community. And it's like, and it's like, if you know all of that, why can't you also realize that like, do you really think that white supremacy ends at the dinner table? Do you really think that it ends at what you put on your plate? And do you think that do you really think that vegans can't be racist? There was a vegan at the fucking Capitol riots. Like, I don't understand, like, what is... There was also this, like, eco-fascist there, too. It's just crazy. I don't know. I just was really kind of like, really, Swayze, you're still doing this shit? Okay, that's embarrassing. And she's being dragged for it, as she should. I think she's a clown. But I'll always appreciate her for making me go vegan. I'll always appreciate her for that, because she did do that. She did do that. Even after the Black Lives Matter movement thing happened, I learned about other vegan creators because people recommended me better people than her. Like Cheap Lazy Vegan. I'm gonna give Unnatural Vegan, Swayze, a ranking of 5 Beyond Burgers because personally, I think Beyond Meat is absolutely disgusting and indigestible. The next vegan on my list is Mike the Vegan. Mike the Vegan, honestly, I don't know. I just don't trust this man. I don't know what it is about him. I just don't trust it. There's just something under the water with this man. I feel like one day he's gonna snap. I just feel like there's something under the surface with him. I just always feel so uncomfortable when I watch his videos. Even before I was vegan, I really didn't enjoy his content, and then now that I am vegan, I don't really enjoy his content, but I do think that he probably has also encouraged a lot of people to go vegan, as his audience is really large and he has so many popular videos, and I think that that's cool. At the end of the day, like, a lot of these people I don't agree with, but they've made some people go vegan, but then at the same time it's like, does the harm outweigh the good? I don't know. You know? I really don't know. I'm gonna give Mike the Vegan 2 Why I'm No Longer Vegan videos. Vegan Gains is Canadian, and I think he is extremely unhinged. Recently, it seems like he's toned it down, but he's sort of known for his rage videos in the past, and he has a lot of videos where he just like pulls out knives and starts like yelling at the camera. He calls people with children breeders. He's kind of a raging hypocrite too, because like, he's vegan, right? But he bought a dog from a breeder, and he bought like a breed of dog that like has to eat like meat. Like, it was like a wolf dog. Like, it was a very special kind of dog that couldn't even eat regular dog food. Like, it had to have a very carnivorous diet. And that put him in a bunch of hot water. It was just really crazy. And I think this man is like genuinely, like, I worry about him low key. I worry about him, and I worry about his wife, and I just worry about like his situation, and I just wonder, like, is he gonna end up on the news one day? I hate to say shit like that. I really don't want to say shit like that. Like, I don't want to put that out there in the universe. I'm gonna try to pull it back in, but I get this uneasy feeling like watching his content, and I think he's really unhinged. He is like kind of a centrist, kind of like a Reddit censorist, kind of like, I don't know, he hates like SJWs, and he's constantly ragging on intersectionality in the vegan movement, and I just think he's such an enigma. Yeah. Richard. I think the good thing about Vegan Gains, if there's anything good about him, is that he is sort of catered to the like dude bro like bodybuilder types, and I think it's good for men to have like examples of vegan men, but I don't know if he's the example of vegan men that we want. But I think it's like good for men in that category to see other men going vegan. Like, I think that's really positive. Because, you know, toxic masculinity exists, and it's like masculinity is associated with like meat and steak and ribs and brr and heart disease, brr. And it's just kind of like, I feel like that is good to have someone of his sort of like brand doing that, but is he the one we want? I don't know. It's kind of like a misogynist, and like he fat shames people regularly. He's just a piece of shit. Like, I don't really know what to say. He's just a piece of shit. And like, you laugh when watching it, but at the same time you're like, oh my god, there's definitely people in his audience who unironically agree with him, and like, you laugh because it's like ridiculous, but you're also kind of like, I think this dude's like for real, dude. I think this dude's like being for real right now. Personally, I think he's bad for veganism, and I think he should seek out professional therapeutic help. I'm being genuine, like, I'm not trying to be funny right now. I just feel genuinely sorry for him when I watch his content. Recently, he just pretty much live streams, and he'll like lift like weights, do it on live stream. Which, I mean, I'm not the target audience for that shit, okay? I'm really not the target audience for that shit, okay? And like, he also just he also, in a very similar manner to that vegan teacher, just kind of like drags other vegans and like constantly just drags them and like calls out non-vegans and like just calls out people. I don't know. The one thing I can say about him is I think his Canadian accent is very endearing. I think it's like the only nice thing about him. And when it slips out, it makes me laugh. And it reminds me that under all of there's a human under that thing, you know? Like, sometimes he'll say oot, like he'll say out, oot, and it's just really funny. I'm gonna give Richard 5 negative knives. Please stay away from knives, please. Please. Next vegan on my list is Freelee the Banana Girl, who she is quite infamous in the vegan community. I also think she's extremely unhinged, and I definitely think that she's kind of bad for veganism as well. What I mean by that is her diet sort of pushes this narrative that vegans just eat like fruit and vegetables all day, and that's completely not true. She calls herself a raw vegan, a fruigan, a vegetarian, a fruitarian. I can't remember what word she's coined, but she literally just eats like raw fruits and vegetables, and she blends like 10 bananas together and drinks that, which, holy shit, the fiber content, ma'am, your shit must be smelly and it must be runny as hell. Oh my god. I feel sad looking at her food. It makes me feel really sad. Like, I'm like, is that really enjoyable? There's also the conversation to be had about her sort of encouraging eating disorders and disordered eating. I know a lot of people that have had their eating disorders get worse from viewing her content. I know a lot of people like that. So that's why I say I think she's bad for the vegan movement. Vegans, as long as you're not consuming animal products, you can literally eat whatever you want. Whether that's rice and lentils, impossible meat, and like vegan cheesecake, or if that's a bowl of fruit. For me, it's about balance. I eat all of those things. I'm not gonna just eat whole food, plant-based foods. I'm not. I want to enjoy junk food, and I want to enjoy the good things in life as well. And I'm not just gonna eat like the junk food, vegan foods, because those are expensive. And like the whole food plant-based foods are really cheap, like rice, lentils, potatoes, chickpeas, beans. Those are all really cheap and they happen to be really healthy for you. So there you go. One of my favorite things, she does these videos where she sits on a yoga ball and she just kind of like bounces, and she'll kind of like make fun of people's like diets. Like, she reacts to people's what I eat in a day videos, and if you drink any coffee, she calls you a drug addict. And she has this really thick Australian accent, and she's like, they are inducing drugs. It's really sad that they got drugs in their diet. I can't do her accent, but it's just really funny. It's like, I don't know why she's out here like talking about people's diets when it's like, ma'am, you literally consume banana like slop. Like, ma'am, miss, madam, please. The one thing about her that I do appreciate is she's very pro carbs, and I feel like, yes, we need to decrease the fear that people have surrounding carbs, and I'm really happy that she has that platform and message that like you should eat carbs because they're really good for you, and it's a good source of energy, and carbs are very cheap, healthy foods depending on which carbs you get in. Rice, potatoes, those are my main source of carbs. I can't eat gluten. I also eat a lot of tortillas, but you can have bread. Like, there's so many different ways to consume carbs. Oatmeal, and carbs are not a bad word. It's like, it's just a food group that's literally good for you, that you like physically need. So I really like that she's like pro carb. I love that about her. But yeah, she's kind of racist, and she's like hella racist, and she's like sided with Candace Owens, which if you're ever siding with Candace Owens, what the fuck are you doing? It's kind of funny because that vegan teacher, like, recently she gave Freelee the Banana Girl and Unnatural Vegan like a shout out, and it's like, y'all are all like racist and out of touch and washed up, and that's hilarious. Yeah, I think that the fact that she sort of promotes like unrealistic like diets that like non-vegans look at and are like, I don't want to live like that, is sad. Like, I look at her lifestyle and I don't want to eat what she eats. Like, are you kidding me? Like, I'd be shitting my pants every day. I'm gonna give her a score of 5 shit stains because that's probably what her pants are filled with. We'll see. The last vegan on my list, and I'm not gonna drag this wonderful woman, is Tabitha Brown. I avoided Tabitha Brown's content for a really long time because watching food content, like watching certain food content, made me very angry when I was in the depths of my eating disorder, so I sort of avoided her content. But recently, I've just been really enjoying her spirit. I'm just gonna say 3 nice things about this woman because that's my business, okay? So the first one is that Miss Tabitha reminds me of the sweetest, kindest, like, church ladies that used to, like, sneak me little candies, and I just love her for that. I think she's a true blessing to the vegan movement. I think her afro is full of hope and goodness. I'm gonna give her 5 like so like that's. And those are the 10 vegans on my list. Let me know if you guys watch any of these vegan content creators. Let me know what you guys think about these people. I'd love to hear down below. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, I do have vegan merch on my site, y'all. So please check out my site. I'm super excited and proud of like a lot of the designs I have on there, and I think they're really cool. More of my stuff is coming, so I'll be able to show it to you guys, but it's just coming so damn slowly, panoramic and all, you know. If you guys enjoyed this video, please feel free to subscribe. Feel free to check out my Patreon and other links in the description down below. There will be links to ED resources if you feel like you need so. Please check those out. I would really appreciate it. As always, a huge thank you to my patrons, to my YouTube members, to my subscribers, and to you for watching. It is really appreciated. Yeah, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. And I will see you in the next one. Alrighty, y'all. Bye.